Hello once again, everyone. It's Mike Tenay from TNA Wrestling, and welcome to In the Room. Here's Brady, Kathy, the Stro, Jordan, and Derek.
That's a little outdated.
All right, I'm Jordan.
A little outdated.
Hey, Dixie loves it.
I'm gonna find my picture of me and Dixie too, guys.
I got one too.
Howdy, y'all.
Hey.
Sometimes the world looks perfect, nothing to rearrange. Sometimes you just get a feeling like you need.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back and we're on the air. It's In the Room on the VOC Nation Wrestling Network. Check us out on VOCNation.com and all your favorite podcast platforms. And while you're there, be sure to check out all the other great shows that are part of the VOC Nation Radio Network. Now, of course, I say that, and we only had 2 shows last week. A lot of people on vacation, but we'll be getting some more content up there this week, I'd imagine. So be sure to check it out. And while we have you, let me introduce myself. My name is Brady Hicks. I've got with me once again the lovely Kathy Phipps. Kathy, I'm glad you could make it on tonight. We're definitely praying for your uncle.
Thank you, Brady. He needs it.
Well, hopefully things work out okay. We also have the one and only Maestro of professional wrestling. How you doing, Papa Stro?
Oh, great to be here with you guys. You know, when I gotta tell you, when I first heard that intro, first time a while back, the singing intro, I really thought you were singing that song. I was like, man, I'm impressed with Brady's singing skills.
Thank you. Yeah, that was
awesome.
me actually. Yeah, they hit me up for that. I should have said the award-winning or the future award-winning Papa Stro Maestro. I hear you're making towns with the movie.
Yeah, the Devil's Daughter. Yeah, I already won our first award, and we're submitted to other film festivals for next year. So really excited, about the possibility. So see what happens.
And we have back, and I'm so glad that you didn't die because I was ill-informed. I was told that you were gone, Patrick, and I'm so glad that you're with us. We have Pat Hackett once again.
That's why you can't listen to the dirt sheets, man. You know what really happened is I was in Syracuse, New York, and there was like 56 different sailors there. And, I got this shirt off of them, if you can see my anchors. But the rest of it was real bad.
Oh, geez. And the one and only Kevin Brady joining us once again. How you doing, Kevin?
I'm good, Brady, although I got to say I'm a little disappointed. You never introduced me as the lovely Kevin Brady, and for that I hurt a little bit.
Well, we'll be doing that moving forward, and you'll be very sorry that you said that. But now,
look, I'm lovely.
Now what? We're going to have a good show tonight. We are lots of interesting topics. Actually, I only got 2 of your topics, so a lot of this is going to be on the fly. But we'll have fun anyway.
2 topics.
2 very interesting topics. Kevin, I don't even know how to begin with yours. First of all, let me give out the number, 914-338-1885. We're going to be talking about wrestlers in Hollywood. We're going to be talking about our favorite angles as well. And we have a couple callers on the line. Real quick, I just want to go to 843 just because either way it's going to be an exciting call. It is going to be either of our South Carolina friends. We have 2 of them. But South Carolina, you're on the line. You're on In the Room. What's going on? You there?
Hey there, this is Dr. John.
Ah, Dr. John.
Can you hear me?
What's going on? I thought you might have been Malcolm. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. Thought I would drop in and say hello, hear Maestro, and just have a great time tonight. So glad to be here with you.
Thank you, man. So you obviously, and I kind of announced it last week, we're kind of entering a partnership with your podcast network, which we have a long history with. Going to be advertising a lot of the great content on your shows. Tell us a little bit about what you guys got going on this week.
Well, I'll tell you what, in about either 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to have Vinny Berry on. Vinny did the Lance by Chance book, and it was really, really good. And he just sent me his brand new Wrestleville Volume 1 book.
I think we've lost the caller.
I don't think so.
That's cool. That's cool, man.
What happened?
That's nothing. I got you.
Oh.
Okay, so that's what we got. That's what we got going on. The Amazing Velvet is back.
Okay.
He's
is he amazing?
He's been down. He's been down a little bit with his health, but he's coming back strong. So it's good to have him back, and just a lot of great things going on with pro wrestling interviews. Check us out Sunday night, 9 p.m. And Brady, it's great working with you. You're a one of a kind of guy, along
so
with
are you,
Papa
John.
Stro. You guys are one of a kind, and thanks and thanks,
Love you,
thanks for
Doctor.
that little intro. So I want you to get back to
Doc. Before
what?
you go, we were talking Bigfoot off the air. Have you seen Bigfoot lately?
The last time I saw Bigfoot was in Orangeburg, South Carolina, about 8 months ago. I haven't been there since.
I wouldn't either.
Quite a bit in Lakemont, Georgia. Oh yeah, it's kind of interesting. Haven't seen any UFOs in a while. A couple of ghosts here at the house. That's about it. And all that's covered on Scary Cast.
Yeah,
the greatest paranormal piece of stuff you ever seen. Yeah,
piece of stuff. That's it. Yeah. Have you ever been abducted? It's okay. It's a personal thing. HIPAA and everything.
No, it's in my book. 8 times.
8 times. Wow. Okay.
You've been abducted 8 times.
In my right arm.
That means that they went back for you 7 times after the first time.
What could have been so interesting about you
and I've got
that they would come back 8 times?
Wow.
That's crazy.
I don't know, but I have lost time 8 times, and as I said, it's all in my book, Aliens, UFOs, and Anomalies. Look Up in the Sky. It's available on Amazon. So
I'm going to read it.
Check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I forgot that you had your book, John. I'm going to read it.
Now, I've lost
Brady, I'll
time.
get you a copy. Don't worry about that.
I've lost time in the past. Does that mean I've been abducted by aliens?
No, that was alcohol.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Maybe we'll I tell you what, we'll have to discuss that.
Yes, we will.
And we'll get the Queen of the Bigfoot, Robin, on, and she'll help us out. So that'd be fun to do. Let us know.
Maybe I can get a real live Sasquatch for our video portion of it. That would be fantastic.
I mean, I'm partway there.
That would be the most amazing thing that, Brady, you could ever do. That would be amazing.
There's got to be a filter on here somewhere.
No, I was getting ready to tell you some towns you could go. I'll tell you off the air, but there are a couple towns you could go and film some footage and probably get some footage of some Bigfoot. So
okay, I know I've
find
gotten
some
some pictures
and everything. It'd be great.
I've gotten some good pictures.
It is Krampus season. It is definitely.
Wait a second.
Krampus
Hang on.
season.
Now, I have a very important question to ask here because you've said something a couple of times that's caught my ear.
He's like a guest, yeah.
Is the plural of Bigfoot?
Yeah,
Bigfoots?
I was wondering that too. It's Bigfoot.
I would have thought big feet.
Yeah. Big's foot?
it's Bigfoot.
Singular and plural, like deer.
Bigfoot.
That
So it's not like
grammatically
Bigfoot.
wrong.
Anyway,
I would have thought like
Brady, I
Bigfoot.
got a quick question for you.
Okay, I'm here.
Brady, are you still doing ghost hunting?
Yeah, I am. Well, not as much as I was. I got away from it at some point, but I'm very much interested in it still.
Okay, we'll
That
That was like a
Ghost
pandemic.
That-
That was a
that's-
pandemic hobby.
Brady, is it
You know,
fair to
'cause what
say
else
that
do
you
you
ain't
do by
afraid of no
yourself?
ghosts?
I think that's safe to say, although I'm probably terrified, realistically. John, we'll definitely talk off air. I'd have to do another show with you guys for sure.
Absolutely, we'll get that set up. So thanks a lot.
And we got to talk from
Good
Thanksgiving.
talk to everybody.
Thanks for calling on Thanksgiving too. Sorry I wasn't able to make it.
Oh, that's okay. But anyway, good to talk to everybody. Papa Stro, hello. Kathy, hello.
Hey.
Brady, hello. And I'm going to get back to your wrestling guest.
All right, brother.
Love you, Doctor.
And if you see Malcolm, tell him to call in. I miss the guy.
Okay.
He can't be bothered with me anymore.
Shoot him a text.
Yeah. Please do. Does he text? Does he text?
Well, yeah, really he does.
Does he text in all caps? That's how I'm picturing it.
I don't know. No, he texts actually in all lowercase.
Oh,
he doesn't
okay.
about the capitalization.
Yeah.
He doesn't, Malcolm doesn't give a damn. You know, he just Malcolm.
Oh, I know. I miss him. I do. Him and his brother. God bless.
Hey,
man.
Doc,
It's
quick
great to talk
question.
to you, John.
Quick question before you go. When discussing the monster truck Bigfoot, is the plural Bigfoots or Big Feet?
There's only the one
Big
truck,
fleet.
I
though.
think that's big.
It's a big fleet.
There
Yeah,
were
that's
multiple Bigfoot.
That's
Were
big
there?
feet.
Big feet,
They were
big
big feet,
fleet.
see?
Yeah.
Big
Wow.
fleet. Yeah. The big
All
fleet
right.
of Bigfoot.
Dude,
All right,
sweet.
John. I love you, brother.
This is why
We're
people
just having
download
fun.
the show.
All right, buddy. Take care,
See you,
Brady,
man. You
and
too.
everybody else.
Take care, Doctor.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
The good doctor. Good doctor. And if you want to be like John and join us on the air tonight, the number is 914-338-1885. Let's jump into the topics. Kevin, I kind of want to start by yours because I couldn't think of one GD example. So go ahead, and I'm hoping I'll be able to think on the
You
fly.
couldn't?
I got a
Oh,
great
man.
one. Yeah.
So what I want to know is what's the anti-Dwayne? So, like, when you think of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, you think a guy that's come out and had these amazing performances in the mainstream. Who's a guy that tried to do that and embarrassed himself to no end? And for me, it's one of my favorites. It's the Macho Man, Randy Savage, with the entire album, but specifically the single "Be a Man," which I don't know the last time you've listened to that in its entirety, but it is available on Apple Music.
Man,
probably
Hulk.
on YouTube.
I love
Is
that
it
song.
really?
It's on my running mix. I don't run,
man.
but it's a great mix.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Astonishingly embarrassing. Like
It is. Well, that was a tough time for him.
yeah, sure. I mean, I agree, but he's got so much going against him going into it. Like, you're not a rapper, Lenny or Randy Poffo.
Lanny,
You know,
Lanny is.
Yeah.
Lanny is more of a lyricist, I think,
true.
than Randy was.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's nothing. When I look at the Macho Man Randy Savage at every point in his life, never does hip hop artists jump out at me. But here he is, and I get that he felt the need to make his first debut single a diss track to Hulk Hogan. But it's like, did you think this was going to get picked up on mainstream radio?
I love the interview he did after he made the album with the homies in the back, trying to, like he's got the outfit on, and
I mean, I just got this. First of all, somebody told him this was a good idea, right? So it's not like he did this in a vacuum. Randy Savage had, managers and agents and all sorts of people in the entertainment industry saying, "Yeah, sure, why not go for it?"
Yeah.
This is a good idea. And I'm like, did he in his mind ever picture himself like going up to deliver the Grammy Award for Best New Rap Artist alongside Jay-Z? Like, is that what he thought was going to happen? Is that where he thought Be a Man was going to take him?
My only regret was that John Cena and Macho Man didn't do a duet.
Oh, man.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
John Cena, more legitimate hip-hop artist than Randy Savage.
That would have been amazing.
John Cena has bars. Like, he's on a couple regular old albums. And he's really, really good in the verses. It's a Hustler remix. He's really good in that.
I love this album.
Yeah. Oh, I've listened to it all the time. Like, Brady, you were saying that's on your running mix. Like, that is, obviously from what you're looking at, it's not my go to the gym mix, but it was on my go to the gym mix.
I always thought A Bad Bad Man should have been his theme song.
Yes. Yeah, but he never went heel.
That was good.
Right?
It was good. That Now, of course, he was the Macho Man, so doesn't he get some credit? I mean, he did Spider-Man. He did Slim Jim. Like, I feel like Slim Jim alone canceled that out. And then he's in the positive with Spider-Man.
No, nothing cancels that out. That's so embarrassing
Slim
that
Jim?
it can't be. And by the way, that's so embarrassing that it can't be canceled out. And I still had to say that was more embarrassing than Hulk Hogan's career, which was when Hulk Hogan's foray into music was One More Hulkster in Heaven, which is just the most nonsensical song ever written about a fictional child that died and wasn't going to be at SummerSlam or something. He manages to find rhymes for he shoehorns the word Wembley into that song by Wembley.
I don't remember that at all.
I don't remember anything but the title.
Oh, look up. Yeah. This one is also available on YouTube. This one not on Apple Music, but you can find it on YouTube.
Did he wear the hard hat? Did he wear the hard hat from Pile Driver at least?
From the Pile Driver album? No, this was the Hulk Rules album. This was his solo effort.
Yeah, this was not If You Only Knew.
No, this Pile Driver was like a various artists kind of thing, if I recall.
Okay. Yeah.
Hulk Rules was his solo album where he really tried to take it, but yes, his gets canceled out by the rest of his career. Macho Man's foray into the mainstream, you've got the bit part as Bonesaw, and you've got really the laughable Slim Jim commercials that were. I don't know,
but the Slim Jim keeps him in like people's minds. People still know Macho Man and the Slim Jims. I mean, and the.
I mean, I would argue most people know him more because of Slim Jims.
Yeah, so I think that's
probably yeah.
But
my younger brother used to think Macho Man was hiding out at the convenience store whenever he'd go buy Slim Jims.
Oh, sure. For sure. I look at it like if it were a VH1 behind the music documentary, Be a Man Hulk would be that period when he's kind of getting bloated. It was toward the end, and it's like people still talking about how concerned they were about him. By all accounts, he was having a rough time in his life at that point. I give him a pass. Slim Jim alone, I give him a pass.
And by the way, that's the other thing. There was never an opportunity to come back from it because Be a Man was so late in his run that just a couple years later he's gone. So
according to Hulk, they patched things up though.
I'm sorry.
Of course.
According to Hulk, they patched it up.
I'm sure
you know. Yeah. They happened to run into each other at the doctor's office. Stro, you were telling us that time about when Savage called you in Puerto Rico.
Doctor's office.
This is an amazing. Can you tell that story? I love that story.
Oh, okay. I'm down in San Juan. I was like wrestling for Carlos Colon, Carlito's dad at the time, WWC, and I'm sitting in the condo there with Sean Morley, Val Venus, and
Sean Morley was there? Wow.
Yeah. We're watching the E channel.
Okay.
Seeing all the goofiness that goes on there, and then he picks up the phone first, and he gives me the strangest look, and I'm like, who is it, right? And he says, it's the Macho Man, and he really talks like that. I'm like, get out of here. I thought he was ripping me, right? So I grabbed the phone. I was like, hello? And he's like, hey, how you doing? I've been trying to reach you. Heard a lot about you, the Hulkster and everything, I'm like, is this Randy Savage?
I'm thinking it'd be like Owen or something,
Yeah.
But, it's actually Brady calling you.
It was pretty wild.
Hey, what's going on?
I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it.
Man.
Hey, brother, you're down in Puerto Rico, brother.
I don't think
you can find a spot for the
high.
Macho Man.
Yeah, I was doing those New York style hot dogs to get from the beach. And they had a concession stand there, and it was amazing. A guy from New York would cook them. They're like fantastic, and what better way to start your day eating a New York style hot dog talking to Macho Man? So.
That's a good
Stro, brother, I got this idea where I'm gonna sell hot dogs on the beach. Come on, brother.
Hey, I'd be all in. Him and Hulkster actually flew me from there to Nitro.
You had me at hot dog
for the tryout and everything. Yeah.
Oh,
and
that's
I got
awesome.
to meet Eric and all the boys.
That is cool. That is cool. Now, from best day of your life to worst day of your life, I did think of one, and I don't know if this would actually work, but I'm thinking Sid from that WCW movie. He was horrible. He was
Ready to
from
in Ready to
the
Rumble?
David Arquette one. Yeah,
He
but
was
Sid
in Ready to
particular,
Rumble?
he was.
I do not recall that.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't he
and
just
he was not
trying to
very
be in
good.
Sid?
Yeah, he was
just
like the
kind of
main
being
event,
Sid.
right?
There was no acting.
The Triple Cage thing they had at the end.
Yeah. Well, he was like one of the, because remember they went after him. I forget if it was in an alley or at a gym or something. Sid was one of the assailants.
Yeah,
Sid was one of the guys that came after him.
He was the same guy from Bad Boys. He was the police chief. He played the police chief in Bad Boys.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Sid, anyway,
they all
because
jumped our
just in
wrestling
general.
icon, Oliver Platt.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Good movie, bad performance. Sorry, Sid. Hopefully he doesn't get me through the phone.
I have a definite soft spot in my heart for that movie.
Absolutely, me too.
I got a kick out of Booker T dancing to George Clinton in that movie. That was hilarious.
Did I ever tell you about the time that I hung up on Sid? It was not a very pleasant experience. He was supposed to do this show, and he wanted me to call to just run over some things with him, and he was plugging some show that he was doing, and I hadn't gotten all the details from the promoter, so when he started asking me about it, and I didn't know at the time, he's like, oh, I'm calling bullshit. Like, there's no way that this is... And I'm like... And he starts arguing with me. He's like, if this is legit, then you're unprofessional and blah. I was like, dude, the interview's 2 weeks from now. Like, I think I'll be ready. You know, I think we'll be fine. So he starts yelling at me. He starts berating me. He started... Yeah. He starts berating me. So I hung up the phone. I thought, what's he gonna do? Come after me through the phone with scissors? You know, but like
scissors, that's his move.
You got a lot of heat on you, Brady Hicks.
He called me back. He called me back, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, I got disconnected. I was terrified. But to this day, I've avoided conventions where I knew he was going to be there, and I don't think he would remember that. But
oh man,
yeah, that was scary.
Wait, he was there for the Shockmaster debut, remember?
Yeah.
He was, yes. Yeah. He could have been the Shockmaster as far as I'm concerned.
That's where I was going to go with this. Because I thought it was the weirdest way that you got into mainstream. And I think plenty of non-wrestling fans know enough about the guy in the Stormtrooper helmet who trips on the entrance and messes everything up. But then, it's like, your foray into mainstream. And so I got Vincent Kennedy McMahon, and let's go with World Bodybuilding Championship? Was that what it was called?
World Bodybuilding Federation.
With those curable vitamins. Oh, my God.
That's
Ico Pro. A good old Ico Pro.
That was a good one.
That had to just be anabolic steroids. And then there was the XFL.
You got to want it.
And then there was the XFL again.
Right.
I used to rib Lex Luger talking to him about that all the time. Because remember he was like the face of WBF at one point?
Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
I remember those Ico Pro trailers with him working out. He was doing like shoulder presses, big black and white Ico Pro shirt.
It was like Lex Luger and Lou Ferrigno.
He got on his knees trying to lock up with me one time.
I do secretly wish that I had a New York, New Jersey Hitman shirt around here somewhere.
Oh,
okay, I have a Memphis Maniacs hat. So
I think I have a Las Vegas Outlaws because I assume they were named after the New Age Outlaws pennant somewhere.
You would have assumed.
One
that
would
was
assume.
The thing. Like, why didn't he just go all the way with it? Why did he try to walk the line between legitimate football league and Attitude Era? They should have been there should have been a team based out of Austin, Texas. They should have been the Austin Rattlesnakes.
The part unknown. There should have been a parts unknown team, honestly.
Yeah,
exactly. You could have a team because there's like that lacrosse league now that like none of the teams have home arenas. They just kind of travel around the country. You could have had a team where every game was a road game because they hail from parts unknown.
It would have been amazing.
Imagine the Brahma Bulls.
Oh.
The Brahma Bulls.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But they lost me after the first game when they didn't have steel chairs and angles with the cheerleader. I thought the whole thing was going to be like wrestling, but
you thought it was going to be gimmick the whole way.
That's what I was really hoping for. And I still say they'd still be around if that's what it was.
Remember the video game Mutant League Football?
Yes.
That's what it should have been.
Yeah.
It should have been like, fucking guys with weapons. I remember the biggest thing they were promoting.
The football team would stack the golfers.
Yeah. Remember the biggest thing they were promoting going into the XFL was, hey, we're going to have locker room cams for the cheerleaders. Like, all right, first of all, you're on NBC, so nobody's going to be showing tits. Secondly, holy shit, like, that's creepy.
Police squad.
You're just drilling a hole through the wall,
Nothing to see here.
That was a good one because Vince McMahon consistently has failed every time he's tried to go mainstream.
Yep. And even we were talking about it as Stro pulled out his $3 million egg right before we went on the air. This attempt,
another egg,
to tie himself to Red Notice. Like, it's just, come on, Vince. You're the carny who is getting people in, and you've been doing it for 80 years. Like, just accept your role. You're not gonna ever be president. You missed that boat already. You probably could have been that guy if you wanted to.
It's a shame that Vince doesn't take a cue from like other people that have been mega successes in a single, like Henry Ford didn't try to produce Broadway shows, right? He found his lane. I can make a car, that's what I'm gonna do. Vince just needs to stay in his lane and everybody would have been much happier.
Yeah.
Except for the guys that work for him, they would still think it sucks, I'm sure.
Well, Joe, what about you? Can you think of an embarrassing debut mainstream?
Oh my goodness.
The anti-rock.
The anti-rock. Oh, wow.
I would have said The Miz on Dancing with the Stars, but I hear he was good, even though I didn't see it.
He was very good.
But see, The Miz's debut was mainstream.
Yeah.
The Miz went from the mainstream to the industry.
And that was an embarrassing real world thing. I mean, he was the goofball with the title belt that everybody hated.
Yeah.
I mean, the weird thing was I remember what was it, heck, probably 2001, 2002, right?
I think so.
Like when he's making his debut, he's transitioning into the business, and it was from my perspective as someone who had been so into wrestling his entire life, and I'm like, this is kind of embarrassing. We're bringing in the real world guy. It's like, I don't know, how desperate are we for eyeballs? And look, more power to him. He turned out to be
one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time.
The debut of Oz had to be right up there.
Oh,
I couldn't stop. I laughed so hard my side hurt. And hear Kevin Sullivan's voice. It's Oz. It's Oz.
Oh, God. Oh man, but then the Miz going back to mainstream. I mean, you have the Marine movies, and then you have what I'll be watching very shortly because it holds a special place in my heart: the Christmas Bounty Hunter. Because I
have 2 copies of that on DVD.
That's awesome. You should give me one.
Just a backup.
Amazing. Yeah, you need.
I
2
found them
copies.
at a dollar store, and I was like, "These will make great gag gifts," and I just never gave them away.
I would genuinely enjoy that gift.
What was the one?
I will send you a copy for Christmas.
Great.
The Chaperone, Triple H, on a school bus with a bunch of kids. Do you guys remember this?
I remember the poster because I've gone by it on Netflix 200 times. I've never dared to watch it. I'm pretty sure it is, yeah. I think so.
Wow, I'm gonna look that up. Yeah. I feel like it was an action
Big Show
movie.
sitcom.
Here's one.
I watched that. Rat Boy turned me onto that.
I got one.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a perfect segue into Sid. We were just talking about Sid earlier, right? It was like my Nitro debut, right? I'm playing the piano up in the Baby Grand up in the rafters. Was Sid's power bombing people in the
ring. Right.
I look down. He's still like power bombing people. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna keep on playing, right? So I had no clue why I was playing piano during one of his matches, but
you would think
actually
like you had it in for him.
That gimmicks?
Oh, that's me. That was me. Jimmy Hart worked with me on the sheet music to play and everything, but that was me.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Very cool.
Now, did Jimmy Hart kind of hide under the piano, telling you which keys to hit? You knew anyway, right? I mean, you were.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The thing is, I had to really kick in the bass because the crowd noise would drown out the sound.
Okay.
So I really
did they ever give you like the Did they ever give you like the arena organs, like for the hockey teams, like where you got the whole arena?
Wherever they got added, like David Grand, where they had one in the area, kind of like they did with the snakes with Jake Roberts. They would ship snakes in for him to use, that type of thing.
Oh, really? They shipped in his snakes?
Stro just ruined my childhood.
Hold up!
I know, me too.
You mean there wasn't just one Damien?
Matter of fact,
I always thought it was one Damien.
Here's a funny story for you. One time, Jake told me that there was a big crate they shipped in for him, and he asked Vince what was in the crate, and Vince was like, "That's your snake for tonight." So he opens up, and this snake is so big. Jake was on his knees. He couldn't even stand up with the snake because the snake.
Oh my God!
Big. So he couldn't. He had to get another snake for him because he's so big.
I really thought he had a snake that went with him everywhere.
Jesus, look at these marks.
Me too.
Next, you're going to tell me there were multiple Matildas.
I know.
How dare you? It's
there are times you could carry the same snake with him.
I'm done now. I check out now. That's sad.
I am heartbroken by this.
Yeah.
But
I cried when Earthquake sat on Damien.
Me too. And I'm afraid of snakes.
His snake.
That was my angle. When they made snake burgers. It was. All my earliest memories with wrestling seem to center around John Tenner for some reason, Whether he's sitting on Hulk Hogan, sitting on the snake. We were going to talk wrestling angles tonight. We might as well transition into it. That was something that left such a because I thought, what happened to Damien? Was he sick so they had Earthquake sit on him? I had no idea that he was just a snake that night. I had no idea.
Brady, I do want to tell you that no actual snake was harmed by John Tenta.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. All right.
I know that. You
I
don't
was
know
thinking,
that.
like, spread his ass or something so that the snake went in between. I don't know. I don't know how they work that kind of stuff.
We all just. Oh, God. That's a good angle, though.
It was an amazing angle.
All the snake angles were great, though. Whether it was,
I was traumatized.
Whether it was like the sitting on, Damien, or the Cobra biting the Macho Man at his wedding.
That was amazing.
Here's how great that angle was.
The $1 million belt in with the bag, and he didn't want to get it.
Oh God, I forgot about that. That's a good one too.
Yeah.
Here's how inspiring the Cobra angle was, and heck, you'll know this one.
Oh yeah.
When a friend of ours got married, and a mutual friend was not invited to the wedding, and we were all like, "Oh, that's kind of shitty that he wouldn't be invited to the wedding." So that friend and I went to a mall that sold that had a candy store, and inside this candy store, we found a giant candy snake. It was like a gummy worm. Wow. It was the size of a giant.
It was a cobra. It was a candy cobra too.
It was a cobra.
Oh wow!
So we put it in a box and we wrapped it up nicely, and we gimmicked the box with a piece of wire so that when you lifted it off, the snake would come up with it. And at this guy's wedding, not a day later, at the wedding, I pulled him aside and I said, "Look, man, I'm heading out, but you have to open this gift. And you can't open a gift at a wedding; it's so fucking tacky." But I'm like, "No. You have to open this gift. It's from our mutual friend who sends his regrets not being able to be here."
I want one now.
And he opens it up, and here comes the Cobra.
Yeah, we're not friends with any of those people anymore. Just
no.
I wonder why.
We don't know them.
But tell me the videographer got it, please. Please tell me that it was documented on, because that would be amazing.
Also, those people no longer married, so
that's true.
I'm sure wrestling had played a part in it.
I like to believe I did.
Probably.
Our business partner
off the air about why I don't talk to
Rick and Morty snake.
I can do that one on the air.
Rick and Morty snake. Our business. I was going to say it's usually wrestling related when marriages don't work out and somebody likes wrestling. That usually is at the core of it. Like Bruce Wirt, our my partner in this, the voice of choice, the VOC Nation, all that. He's been married 3 times, and one of the times he got divorced because his wife said, "I do not want Rat Boy in our car."
And
he picked up Rat Boy. He picked up Rat Boy. He chose Rat Boy over Lana, or whatever her name was.
Or whatever that name might have been.
I never met her, so I only knew wife 2 and 3. So
I wish you guys were there with Brady and I, Kathy, when Rat Boy challenged Virgil. for the AWA championship.
He did. He had his cardboard rat trap title, and he tried to swap them out. We're at a convention, and Virgil was next to it. So Virgil was on this side, and the Sandman and Raven were on this side. For some reason, they had them sitting together. But Rat Boy took his title when Virgil wasn't looking and swapped it with the $1 million belt. Virgil was not happy.
I can't imagine.
I wonder why.
I'm sorry.
How many dollars
Virgil.
did Virgil charge him after that? 30, 40?
I forget.
I gotta say, a lot of guys love to charge money for a picture or an autograph at a comic show. Virgil is one of the biggest offenders I've ever met.
Oh my God!
I was at the Philadelphia Wizard World Convention, probably 2000 and maybe 2000, 99, 2000, something like that. And actually, it was with the same guys that were involved in the whole steak incident. And we're at the Wizard World Convention, and Virgil is sitting at a table like 30 feet away, and he's charging $50 for a snapshot. And I'm like, I'm not paying $50 for a picture of Virgil. But you get up the camera, you just try to snap one from a distance. Oh, he wasn't having it. Virgil got very upset. I'm trying to take a picture of him sitting lonely by himself at a table. Greg the Hammer Valentine, another one that's just like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of them. So I was at one where Virgil came and they didn't book him in the convention. I think he thought he'd be able to just get a table when he got there. So
I'm Virgil.
He set up his and by the way, his thing, if you've ever seen it, like at any parade, anytime he's at anything, he uses the banner that says the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase and Virgil, and he folds it over so it just says and Virgil. This is what he uses at his table.
Saves money.
And Virgil, if somehow Virgil hears this, and I don't think he would, but I'm not making fun of you. I just think it's amazing.
Respect the hustle.
But this guy, so much hustle. He showed up at this convention he wasn't booked at, and when they didn't take him, he set out his table. He set up his table outside by where the valet parking was. But right outside of the door. Like it would
Pete
Virgil
Rose
on
the Hall of Fame every year.
Basically.
Pete Rose goes up to Cooperstown every year and sets up a table outside.
And that particular show, I believe that, by the way, and that's exactly how Virgil. So Virgil went into the bar later that day, and he asked for a water at the bar, and he brought his own sandwich, and they kicked him out because he wouldn't get rid of his sandwich.
You know that meme where the guy's sitting outside at a table with the sign that says, like,
change
whatever,
my mind.
Convince me otherwise, change my mind?
Yeah.
It's like, my name, I'm picturing him now with that, and his sign says, my name's Vincent, not Virgil, change my mind.
Yeah. But back to that convention with Rat Boy, that was amazing. Like, he went up to New Jack. I told him, leave New Jack alone. I said, I don't
that's a really good idea.
That's good policy.
It's good life advice. Even now he's gone, I'm still scared of him.
You should be.
That is, I should be, yeah, because he could come back at any, and now he can walk through walls, that MFer, like I'm scared to death. So this guy, Rat Boy says, I'm going to go get New Jack and get him to come over here. Stro, you were there. I said, no, don't go near New Jack. Leave that guy alone. The one time I was on a show with him, he almost tasered me by accident because he's playing with a taser like he's the big boss man. And not a good idea. I wasn't even talking to him. I just had my back to him, and he's going like this with the taser.
Everybody who's been in the business has at least one New Jack story. Man, he was
Grimes
something.
has a great one.
He's scary.
He tried to murder him and admitted that.
He admitted that on national television. Thank God he died before it went to air.
Yeah.
Statute of limitations.
And I was at the roast. I think it was Terry Funk. It might have been Jim Cornette, where New Jack showed up. I think it was probably a Jim Cornette, because I know they were close. And he showed up drunk and was just standing in the middle, belligerently arguing, like the Scott Hall incident the year before with that comedian. It was insane. He's just and nobody wanted to clear him away because he's friggin' New Jack, Yeah, we were at the convention, and Rat Boy said, I'm going to go bother him. I said, do not go near him. He comes back, and he's like, New Jack wanted me to show you this. And he holds up his phone, and there's a picture of New Jack just going like this. Terrifying.
He's one of the guys, he's one of the few guys in the business that I would really look at as legitimately scary. Like
Yeah.
New Jack, Taker,
Taz.
the Road Warriors. You know, those guys, I'm like, you know what? I'm legitimately not going to fuck with those guys in a dark alley.
Brock.
Any of
go
them MMA
toe-to-toe with
guys,
Hulk Hogan.
yeah, Brock.
Hulk Hogan doesn't intimidate me at all. He's just big muscle.
I know,
Well, yeah,
Ken Shamrock
he's
seems
gym
very
muscle.
approachable for being the world's
Any
most
of the-
dangerous man. Like, I feel like
We
I
had,
could say hi to Ken Shamrock.
I think you could say hi to him, but I wouldn't want to mess with him. I guarantee
No.
that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want
We
to
had
mess with
Dan
Shamrock.
Severn. We had Dan Severn on the
Severn.
show, and I was terrified to offend that guy because I have a history of sometimes offending the guests when I
Did
talk
you
to
call
them.
him
I don't
Magnum
mean to.
PI?
No, but he looks like that. Yeah.
He does.
No.
Steve Blackman, another one I wouldn't want to mess around with.
Steve Blackman.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I loved me some Steve Blackman.
He was great. He was great. When Dan Severn did the show, afterward, he wanted detailed statistics on how many listeners, and I didn't want to give it to him because there weren't that many at the time. And I'm like, you know, where do I go with this? Because I don't want to lie to this guy. You know,
we lied to people when we were on our alma mater's radio station. We lied to people all the time.
That's how we got backstage at the UFC.
I'm about
twice.
to say we're credentialed reporters for the UFC twice. Yeah,
that's funny. That's funny. So wrestling angles. Mine is Jake the Snake number 752 getting sat on.
Stroh ruining childhoods.
I know.
So
Seriously.
sad,
Next, you're gonna tell me.
Why'd you do it, Stroh?
I'm sorry.
Next, you're gonna tell me Santa doesn't exist.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Next, you're gonna tell me Santa doesn't exist, and I'm just gonna be just blown away.
No. His name is Santa Claus, I believe you're looking for.
Santa, yes. Great angle, by the way.
Yeah, the cousin's name's Milana. Milana Claus.
The thing that made me think of this is
his other cousin is No Trade. No Trade Claus.
That's a good one.
No Trade Claus.
that made me think of this is MJF and CM Punk, that promo that was fantastic, and kind of how you see that storyline kicking off. And I have an incredibly huge soft spot for the Miz. I'm a huge Miz mark. I think he's done more with less than just about anybody else in the business. I mean, he's still going.
True story. I'm the reason that he was number one in the 500 that one year.
You put him over?
Nobody else, everybody else wanted Cena, and I came in with this detailed spreadsheet of how I did more than Cena that year, and I presented it, and I won them over. It was like
phenomenal.
It was like 12 Angry Men or whatever, the jury movie. That's what it was like.
Knowing Hack as I do, I would argue that he does not, in fact, have a very big soft spot for the Miz. I would say he actually has a very small heart spot for him.
No.
Oh, okay. He's great.
So I was thinking about some of the angles that Miz was in, and it brought me to like my two favorite angles of all time. Basically, lasted the length of the companies, and it was Sting versus Ric Flair and Tommy Dreamer versus Raven. And I think that was
2 years.
The longevity of the angle and how it like interweaves and it comes and it goes, and even that last Nitro, you know, you close it out with Sting and Flair, and even when they weren't associated with each other, they were still there. And like Tommy and Raven going back and forth and never quite getting the W. I miss that long-term storytelling, and I think WWE is kind of doing it a little bit, but should be hyping it up a lot more anytime that the Usos and the New Day are against each other, because they've been these dynamic forces in the company and they've been intertwined. And I just feel like we don't have that long-term storytelling anymore. Man, I love that. I love every now and then, like when Flair would trick Sting into being like, you're going to be a horseman this week. Come on, Stinger. And Sting, like Charlie Brown, would run towards that football every time.
Right.
But I mean, isn't the best part of the Raven Tommy angle is that Tommy finally gets his win over Raven in the loser leaves town match, and Raven shows up on Nitro. Like, it's a legit loser leaves town match.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I was going to say not for nothing, but my favorite TNA angle of all time actually involves Sting, Ric Flair, and a Raven all in one. It was when Sting made Eric Bischoff sit at the desk not to interfere in his match. Ric Flair was involved as well, and he told him, "Who's that, Dixie?"
Yeah,
that's me and Dixie. It's tough to see.
Oh, I got a Dixie picture. That really sounded.
I don't want to
dirty.
see your Dixie pic.
I have a Dixie pic. I'm
gonna send you guys a Dix pic in the chat. Hang on.
Yeah, I will too. I will. No, but Sting, he made Eric Bischoff sit at the desk and not interfere, and he put a crow in front of him, and he said if Eric Bischoff got up, this crow was going to peck out his eyes. And they kept coming back to him during the course of the match, where Eric Bischoff is like this at the desk with the frigging crow, like ready to get him. It was the most amazing angle I've ever seen TNA do. It was just great writing. Yeah.
So I would say that mine is the build up to, and this, I think, Hack, you're going to figure this one is going to sound strange coming to me, but the build up to and the finish of the WrestleMania 12 Iron Man match. Because, the Brett lover that I am, the whole build up to that match with, the childhood dream and the whole, emotional,
Lothario
really pulled that with, wasn't it Pedro Morales?
Jose Lothario.
Was it Jose?
Yeah, it was Jose. Yeah.
The whole build-up, and then that moment when Sean actually captures the title and drops to his knees in the middle of the ring. Man. To me, that's one of the best payoffs to an angle that I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's such an emotional moment. Even I was a big Brett fan, but like that's like a seminal moment in professional wrestling. I feel like we need more of those. Honestly, I feel like the MJF CM Punk promo could end up being that if there's like a good payoff and it lasts longer than one pay-per-view cycle.
Yeah.
But we haven't had those big moments anymore.
You know what? And I was going to say that what was so cool about the Sean and Brett thing from WrestleMania 12, that was really the first WrestleMania where the wrestling was the focus. I mean, they had celebrities there, but it was like, these two workers are going to go an hour. You never saw that with Hogan or Warrior, a little bit with Savage, but usually with his opponent, especially in the main events, he was kind of limited there. So it was like, it was really cool to see. It was just, and that was kind of when it changed.
Yeah.
And especially the way the styles were put on display, because I mean, Sean had such a frantic, high impact style, and Brett was more of a plodding, methodical type style, and they matched each other beat for over an hour. It goes to overtime. You had that great moment of Gorilla Monsoon coming down and declaring sudden death. Sean hits that first super kick and can't get up for the cover. I mean, it's just the drama that they built over an hour is, honestly, I say this to my friends who are not wrestling fans, but who are fans of, like theater or other forms of acting and entertainment. There are some matches that you can watch. Not every match is good enough to live up to the standard. But there are some matches that you watch where the level of drama that these two guys can put you through over the course of however long they're in the ring together, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever, that can be just as good as a performance of Death of a Salesman or Hamilton or whatever your taste is, just to see the drama that two people can build with nothing but the physicality they use.
It was an amazing time. And speaking of amazing times, I'm actually going to bring on Ray Bogus right now. Ray, how you doing tonight, brother?
Hello, men. What is the topic du jour of the evening?
Well, right now we're actually talking about our favorite angles of all time in wrestling. And, of course, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Earthquake sitting on Jake the Snake's snake. Stro ruined our evening by telling us that Jake, in fact, had multiple snakes, one in each town. Very sad to hear that, Ray. I mean,
usually it's the rats you have one in each town, not the snakes.
Yeah.
I heard stories about Jake on the road.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Jake's snake got around quite a bit on the road from what I was told by some people.
We were also talking a little bit about who would be the anti-Dwayne Johnson, who made a mainstream appearance that just is absolutely cringeworthy. And I think we were each able to kind of scrape one up there. So, did you have a favorite angle, Ray?
So, a couple of them come to mind. I mean, historically, the heart punch angle with Ox Baker, I think, is probably one of
school.
One of my absolute favorite. And part of it may very well be because at the time it was new, or at least was certainly fresh. More recently, I mean, if you want to go really recent, Chris Jericho's list I thought was enjoyable. For no particular
That's
reason.
a good
either.
one.
There was because if you said, "Hey Ray, tell me why you love that gimmick," I could come up with exactly 0 answers. But damn it, if it wasn't enjoyable.
Oh, but come on, that turn with Owens where he gives Jericho the list and he goes, "Why is my name on here?"
The celebration of friends. Yeah.
Oh God. And you know what? Yep. That terrible WrestleMania that I sat in the Orlando heat during and had to witness one of my favorite wrestlers and his spouse go against a couple who were definitely getting fake engaged for ratings. And that started, I think it might have been the opener, that Jericho and Owens, man, they put on a hell of a show with a giant inflatable list behind Jericho.
Great stuff. Ray, did you have any thoughts on the Star debut that kind of fell short? The mainstream attempt?
So are we talking, hold on, because I want to think about favorite angles.
Yeah, you can think about it later. Think about that. Yeah.
That's one that's going to require some thought. Now, when you say mainstream debut, do you mean a debut outside of wrestling, or do you mean like their debut in?
I got a good one for you, Ray, that I don't think we've thought of. Ultimate Warrior on Arsenio Hall.
Okay, so we're going. Okay, so that. Okay.
Or that music video. He was on that music video with Joe. Who was it? He did the. He was in the ring with this performer, with the singer. Who was it? I can't think of it. It was in the 80s.
Yeah.
I can't think who it was.
It slipped my mind.
I'll look it up.
I know what you're talking about, though.
Sorry, Pat. Sorry to crap on your thing, Pat. What were you saying?
It's all good, my friend.
No, okay. So we're going their debut kind of outside of the wrestling world.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, that Ultimate Warrior one on Arsenio Halls. That's a pretty good one. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go this one. Bob Backlund once unsuccessfully ran for senator in Connecticut, and I think that is one of the. I think that is one of the absolute worst things.
Linda McMahon has done it twice.
Yeah, I know, but we don't.
Yeah.
I guess it's funny to talk about Backlund because he has an actual career that he can point to, whereas Linda McMahon.
He's also crazy.
Yeah, whereas Linda McMahon's career is she mostly her career is that she married Vince. So and I'm just not sure that's. I don't think you point to that on the wall, hey, look what I did.
Bob, I had the opportunity to meet Bob a few years ago in the Connecticut building of the Big E, which, if y'all don't know, it's like a huge state fair where you get representation of all the New England states. And Bob
I'm glad to hear you weren't in Big E.
No, not in Big E. We didn't get with Miss Frizzle and get on the bus.
That's a different thing.
Yeah,
different thing. Yeah.
But man, he was so great to talk to.
I mean, if you were, more power to you.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's a handsome fellow. But
I would love to talk to him.
No, but he is I hope it's no disrespect. I know the term crazy is a little, but he is legitimately not well. I thought it was a gimmick, and it seems like we were living the gimmick at that point in time. But he gave me a nice autograph that I'll eventually hand to my daughter, since he signed it to my gimmick name, and that's her real name. And that's something I have to unpack with a therapist, not now.
Did you have to recite the presidents or anything like that in order to get the autograph?
He actually was talking to me about getting him bookings with the company I was working for at that time.
Nice. Okay.
I am just the ring announcer. I do not do any of that. I'm like, here's the guy's information. That's Joey's problem now.
Hey, and before I sign off, guys, I just wanted to kick out one more of my favorite angles of all time, and this one, I mean, talk about legendary. Iraqi sympathizer Sergeant Slaughter.
Yes.
What an angle.
But when he came back, he's like, I want my country back. It was amazing.
I mean, the man was a literal
Washington
G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
He was a real-life G.I. Joe, and he's out here with the Iron Sheik and Colonel Mustafa, and just talking about how great Saddam Hussein is and how much better it is under his regime. And not only was it a spectacular angle because of the heel turn that, you gotta keep in mind, before Hogan's heel turn, this was probably the only other guy that you couldn't see going in this direction. Like, nobody else, Hogan going Hollywood is akin to Sergeant Slaughter, just saying goodbye to the red, white, and blue.
That was cool.
Yeah.
But it also had this great excuse built in for them when they couldn't sell out WrestleMania, and they were like, oh, they were death threats. We had to move it inside.
Right.
You mentioned that. I actually thought that too, and I also thought the Iron Sheik teaming with Nikolai Volkov to sort of become the anti-American powers. And so like I kind of wonder how much of that was Sergeant Slaughter, and I love Slaughter, so this is absolutely no disrespect to him, but I wonder how much of that was just Sheik continuing to work his magic on everything he touches.
Oh my God.
Except for the gimmick battle royal, which was of course made by the gobbledygooker.
On that note, turning it over.
We're going to turn it over to Ray. First of all, what did you want to talk about tonight before these guys go?
So I kind of thought that I was going to continue the topics from. Oh,
okay. Sounds good.
All right.
Sounds good. Okay.
Take it over, Ray. I'm giving you all my topics. You can run with them.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll see y'all next
Kevin
week.
And Patrick, thank you so much for the time.
Gentlemen, as always, it's been a pleasure, and we'll talk to you next week when you step in the room with Brady Hicks.
All right. And all you guys, for sure. Before they go, or while they're going, I just wanted to mention, before we go to commercial break, I had a funny Bob Backlund story. It was amazing. When he was in TNA, do you remember that run?
I do.
He from the airport. He decided that he didn't want to take a car to get to Universal Orlando. He would walk, whatever the miles were. If it was 6-7 miles, whatever it was, he would walk every time from the airport to Universal Orlando in the pouring rain. I think it was Rob Echoes. I could be wrong. Somebody who was in Impact at the time, I think it was Rob, sent me a picture of Bob Backlund pulling his suitcase with an umbrella in the pouring rain. It was amazing.
You've sent me that picture before.
He didn't want to ride. Yeah.
You've sent me that picture before. That might be maybe that could be something we end up talking about. Who are wrestling's, who's your favorite legitimate crazy person?
In wrestling or out of?
I suppose for the sake of the show, we keep it in wrestling, but actually, when we come back, that's what we'll talk about. Who is your favorite legitimately crazy person?
That's a good one. Yeah, let's go to a commercial break, and we have a couple callers on the line as well. 914-338-1885. It's in the room on the VOC Nation Wrestling Network, and we'll be right back.
Yeah, WCW.
All right, in the room, we're back. It's VOCNation.com. Brady Hicks here. We've got Papa Stro, we've got Ray, and we've got you guys as well. 914-338-1885. Tonight we're talking our favorite wrestling angles. We had something else, and I'm drawing a blank at the moment. I apologize. Ray will be able to fill us in, though. Before we get back into it, though, Stro, the future award-winning actor and performer, tell us what's on your docket for this week, man.
Well, always in full swing. This Thursday night, WCW Retro, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on VOCNation.com. We'll be creating our own Starcade card from stars from past and present. So if you like to call in and create your own Starcade card of your own, please
That's
call
cool.
in.
Yeah.
It's a good time. And
You gotta have a dog collar match.
Yes. Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
This Friday night, my sci-fi horror show, the Stro Zone, at midnight Eastern Standard Time on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/StroTheMaestro. The feature will be The House on Haunted Hill, starring Vincent Price. So please tune in.
That's a good one. That's a scary one. I remember watching that in the theaters, actually. And Stro, by the way, if we're talking kind of scary films, he's way too humble. But he's up for a bunch of awards for The Devil's Daughter. If you guys go on YouTube, you can actually find the full-length film. Be sure to check it out, The Devil's Daughter. Just an amazing. It's the Harley Quinn origin story, and you were Dr. Arkham, and you did an amazing job, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Amazing, great cast and crew as well.
It's an amazing movie, and if you're a fan of Batman, I definitely recommend checking it out, or Harley Quinn, or the Joker, or whatever. Just good stuff. Just really good stuff. We also have Ray joining us. Ray, we missed you last week, man. How are things going in your world?
Oh, things are just delightful, Brady. You know, every day is a beautiful gift. I don't know from whom. I don't know why.
A gift?
Yeah, a gift. I don't know from who. I don't know why I've been forced to receive the gift, but here I am.
It's from the kids around the corner. It's a bag of dog poop. It's a gift.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine then.
I'm only playing.
Men, we're talking gimmicks and then legitimate crazy people. Who is our
that's it.
Yes, who are our favorite, just legitimately insane people from wrestling?
From wrestling. Legitimate too, not like not like Nikki Cross in NXT. Like legitimately crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like Scott Steiner.
Crazy man. I love him though. I was a huge Scott Steiner fan.
Oh, for sure. And like a lot of the guys we come up with are probably going to be very lovable guys.
Yeah.
But that doesn't stop and respect the hell out of them for what they accomplished. But that's not going to stop them for us from labeling them as just legitimately out of their minds. Exactly.
I mean, if you don't mind, I'd love to start out. It's the perfect example. The one that I think of right away, and it's actually the one where he was an example earlier in the evening for worst mainstream debut, because he was in Ready to Rumble, and his performance left something to be desired. I'm talking about the man who actually used the nickname Psycho Sid. Crazy guy.
He is.
I love him though.
No, for sure.
We've
interviewed him on this show, and like.
No, he wouldn't do it. That was when I hung up on him. We did the pre-interview, and I hung up on him because he started yelling at me. Yeah. But I love him still. I was a huge fan. I just won't go to a convention that he's at because I'm terrified of him.
Well, that's understandable. And I mean, there's a lot we could throw out there. I would say there's another one to throw out there. Look, I understand wanting to make sure that you're able to capitalize on as much of your value as you can when you are making your income the way wrestlers make their income. But changing your name to Warrior, I think.
By the way, I think it's great that his entire family still has the last name Warrior. Like, he's gone and the lunacy lives on.
You want to talk about a great name for like this podcast episode? The lunacy lives on.
You know, it's funny too, because we were talking about the XFL earlier, and I always said they missed a golden opportunity by not having a road team that didn't have a home arena and have them hail from parts unknown. It would have been amazing.
It would have been good.
Really good.
That would have been really good.
Really good. Yeah. Really good. Yep. Yeah. But you were saying Warrior. I cut you off there. Lunatic.
And you know what? I mean, definitely made everything around him, despite the fact that, Look, I don't think you'll find a person on this show. I don't think you'll find a person on, and that goes back into this show's archives all the way back to when we were doing this on Spreaker, which is God, a long time ago now.
With the repeating in my earpiece, that was awful.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I don't think you'll find any host in the history of this show that's going to come out and say, "Oh, Warrior made everything around him better through his talent and his incredible work and his in-ring ability." Like, no, nobody's gonna come out and say that. But I'll tell you what, that he is a testament. Warrior is to, like, if you are just completely out of your mind enough that you can actually will things to be better just through like sheer tyranny of, indefatigability.
Sure. You know what I'll say about Warrior? And I thought, because I was a huge fan, and I think a lot of people who are kind of our age were. And I think that, and I'm trying to think of an example that would disprove my point, and I just can't think of one, because other than Andre the Giant, I don't think that any one wrestler created as great of a mystique surrounding themselves as the Ultimate Warrior did. In the late 80s and early 90s, like, that guy, he wasn't the most talented, but he had whatever it was. People watched it. People gravitated toward it. People loved it. And sure, he was a pain in the ass from what I understand to deal with backstage, but really, like I said, he had that mystique thing down at a time when not everybody did. He was special.
He was.
Joe, did you never... I mean, I know you were in the company with him a little bit. Did you ever have any Jim Hellwig moments, as they call them?
Oh, a few times, that I bumped into him. I mean, he was always cool towards me.
Yeah.
Cordial and everything. I mean, I know, from others, he kind of rubbed some others kind of odd with his ways, so to speak. But I mean, he was always like really cordial towards me, really nice. So.
I mean, yeah, and again, like, I don't want to I mean, obviously I wasn't there, but, like, I don't know. The way I perceive the guy, having never met him, and believe me, we tried. We reached out to him so many times to get him on this show when we could have. And it always kind of kills me that we were never able to. But, yeah, like, he was one of those guys, like, from 12-year-old me all the way through, like, when I became more, like, I guess you'd say, woke to wrestling and, like, what's going on behind the scenes and stuff. He just always, even like today, Ray, like, I'll read a dirt sheet from, like, the early 90s or, like, the late 80s, and it was like, I don't know, there was just something about the guy that just always seemed so special, even, like, to people who knew differently.
I think part of it is that there's a combination to sort of pull that off. There's a combination of, they have to end up being, some of this is fate, because you have to be booked well enough.
Yeah.
You have to be booked well enough for this to matter. For as talented as the man behind the gimmick was, like, nobody was ever sitting around just thinking about the mystique surrounding the Red Rooster. Like, that's just not, for, like I said, talent of the man behind the gimmick now is just nobody was. You have to win enough things and enough meaningful things to where you're kind of viewed as being in the big time, and then also pair it with something that is so over the top that you almost can't fathom seeing it in public. And maybe a little bit better execution of it, even though by all accounts, he wasn't a crazy person. He just had a bit of an anger issue for a while. Take, like, the late 80s Macho Man. Like, Like, can you imagine in the 80s just seeing Randy Savage out wandering around being Randy? You almost like couldn't wrap your head around it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it was with Ultimate Warrior. It was just the right combination of the dude kept being in position to be booked as a winner, you know, whether through talent or subterfuge or just luck. It really
subterfuge. There's a $5 word.
That's a tier 2 word, Brady. So well, no matter what, it doesn't matter. He had just the right combination of he got booked to win, and he was so obviously not just a regular dude. And maybe the opposite end of that would be Steve Williams, who did regularly win and meaningful matches at that. But ultimately, when you looked at him, I mean, the name Dr. Death was cool, but ultimately, if you looked at it, he could just be some dude on the street that worked out. Yeah.
Well, you know what? And I think part of it, and Dr. Death for a long time, really until like the late 90s, he always avoided the cartoon world of WWF, you know? And I think part of it, why the Warrior and like you said, Savage, and I think Andre for sure, why like they had these mystiques about them. It certainly, like you said, it's a great combination of like being special and winning all the time. But another thing I think is that WWF largely really, their fans maybe weren't necessarily on the fact that it was worked. Do you know what I mean? Especially like the younger fans, like when we were younger and we're watching these guys in the late 80s and early 90s. I mean, me at 10 years old, I don't know that I was aware. And I'm sure a lot of people were the same. And I think the fact that there's this mystique surrounding the wrestlers from this time period because most people didn't read the dirt sheets. I think that that's exactly why they have that mystique versus like The Rock or Mankind from later on, or like Roman Reigns today. You know, there's too much is exposed today. You know, you see documentaries and you see how people are behind the scenes. There's no documentary of Randy Savage and the Ultimate Warrior going over their match backstage. There's not, unless you were there or knew somebody who was there, you really weren't aware of what was going on.
No, that's definitely true. There is something to be said about the need to create mystique around wrestlers, and you just don't see it the way you used to. You right. do see some guys get it to one degree or another here or there, but you don't necessarily see it on a regular basis and to the magnitude that you normally would see it.
Sure. For sure. What do you guys say we take a call, and we'll get you guys' thoughts as well. We're talking about favorite angles from the past. We're talking about favorite crazy people in wrestling, and we're talking about whatever you want to talk about as well. Let's bring on Steve down in Virginia. He's always good for this. What's going on, Steve?
Hey, greetings, grappling fans.
Greetings, grappling gurus. How you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Just listening in. I wasn't sure what the topic was. I called in when you were talking about Sid. So I'm
yeah. Well, let's start. First of all, let's start with AEW because they had a groundbreaking moment last week. MJF and who's the other guy? Phil Brooks. What his name? I'm only kidding. CM Punk. MJF and CM Punk head to head on the microphone for 20 minutes. 20 minutes. I mean, was it everything that you expected, Steve?
Yeah, it was interesting seeing them tease it in Norfolk, and then I think they really delivered. Somebody I listened to brought up maybe they over-delivered because I don't know when their match is going to be, and I'm wondering if they're going to do the best of 3. So it's going to be interesting to see how they follow that because it got a big reaction, and I saw the post about Edge referencing it on Raw. I didn't see that Raw segment, but it was big enough for them to mention it on TV on Monday, which was interesting.
Yeah. I mean, my initial thought with the whole thing, with that segment with MJF, is like 20 minutes is a long time. You know, in a 2-hour show, that's a sixth of the show. Realistically, it's even more than a sixth if you're counting that, you know, if you're taking out the commercials. I don't know. Like, I just looked at it like there's something to leaving people wanting more. I don't think even the original Pipe Bomb lasted 10 minutes. I think it was more like 5. You know, I just thought it was a bit long. But otherwise, I thought it was good. It definitely built intrigue as far as, like, you know, seeing that match. But, yeah, I just think little things like that is where AEW is still, I don't want to say grasping at straws, but I just feel like they're still feeling their way in a lot of ways. You know, WWE might open the show with a 20-minute promo. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Do you think I'm being too harsh?
No, I actually think that you're giving a very legitimate criticism, and it's one, and I, you know, yes, I'm pretty well on the record on the show as far as my stance on AEW, and that I think it's far and away overall the better product right now. But no, that is a very real criticism, is that there are times where you say, you know, and Brady, you get this because you've done different broadcasting stuff before, that there's this idea of like you can never in the moment declare something to be just the greatest or the biggest or the best or present it as such, because you always have to leave yourself saying, okay, but what's the next step? Because there's always going to be another, in this case, another promo, another match, another outcome. And too often, and credit to WWE for actually having gotten away from this for a while. Too often, AEW will, everything is for that. This is the biggest thing. Like, no, it's not. And it's not, and you need to not treat it that way. And you need to not give it the airtime that would make it appear to be something that it's not. No, I think it's a very real criticism.
It's like, and I'm going to bring on Derek, by the way. We're talking about the MJF promo from last week. I at some point, if everything is always the biggest, you're going to take away from something that actually is going to be the biggest thing. You know, because it's like crying wolf. You know, if I'm always lying about something, and not to say that it's lying, but I'm pretty sure that's not the biggest moment in AEW history. So, like, if you're constantly calling something the greatest and the biggest, and Derek, it's just at some point, people stop paying attention when the real thing comes along. How you doing?
It's funny you said that. Oh, I'm doing great. How's everybody?
Good.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I didn't watch Raw. I didn't watch most of Raw, but I saw the Edge Miz promo.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I watched it, I thought, everybody's going to compare it to the CM Punk MJF thing.
Right.
And when the MJF Punk thing happened, I was like, okay, that was good. I didn't think it was as great as everybody else thought it was, I guess. But you're right. Every time something happens in AEW, this is the greatest moment. This is the greatest moment. It reminds me of WCW, when you would turn on the Nitro and Tony Schiavone be like, this is the biggest night of our industry.
Yeah.
You just said that last week.
Yeah.
So,
it's always getting bigger, brother. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I've seen some people go, oh, this is the best promo, you know, in AEW history, and, you know, Punk is the best talker in wrestling and blah, blah, blah. But I've heard them say this a million times. When Cody Rhodes cut that passionate promo, what seems like forever ago, they told me that was the best promo ever.
Yeah.
When John Moxley beat Jericho, that was the greatest moment in AEW history. When Sammy Guevara beat Miro, that was the greatest moment in AEW history. It's always something. To the point where I remember when their ratings were getting pretty bad, and Tony Khan would take to Twitter and be like, "Tonight, if you're a wrestling fan and you love wrestling or you fell out of love with wrestling, tune into Rampage or tune into Dynamite tonight.
Right,
it's going to be one of the greatest shows you've ever seen." It's like, all right, like now you're in circus man selling mode now. And
Carney.
I don't know if they're doing this because the audience isn't where they think it should be. I think they're doing like 900,000 a week.
Right.
And I think Rampage does maybe 300, between 400 and 300,000. So maybe that audience isn't matching their expectations. Because look, all these guys they're bringing in, at some point, you have to look at your audience and you have to go, uh-oh. It doesn't matter who we sign.
Yeah.
It's not changing anything. I remember, and Eric Bischoff said that today. He goes, you got to be careful bringing all these wrestlers in. But over the next couple of months, it seems like they expect Bray to be there, and Kevin Owens, and Keith Lee, and Kyle O'Reilly. Who's going to move the needle?
And here's my thing, and I'm not saying that the growth potential isn't there, because I think they have a good show. I just think that they need to stop worrying so much about the numbers and just worry about the product. And they're clearly becoming fixated on the numbers. And when WWE used to do that, it was a terrible formula for success. The only ones I ever saw that were fixated on the numbers and continued to thrive were WCW in their heyday, like 96, 95, 96, 97. They're the only ones I've ever seen where that was the case. Usually, worry about the product and the numbers will come, not the other way around. I also found it interesting, and I don't know how much you guys remember from back in the day, but when Vince McMahon was on commentary for his own product, he only called his show The Greatest once a year. It was at WrestleMania. It was the only time that he ever called anything The Greatest. The spectacle, the whatever. He didn't use that the rest of the year. Primetime wrestling, Raw, whatever. Everything was good, don't get me wrong, but, he just didn't use that kind of verbiage when he was talking about anything but WrestleMania.
And it's because you're not supposed to.
Right.
I mean, when you're calling something, when you're on the call for something, and Brady, you and I both actually do this, like outside of this show. Like, that you don't just sit there and immediately hype. It's the Gus Johnson criticism that not everything can be heart attack inducing.
Right.
Not everything can be just the single greatest play in history. Sometimes things just happen, and it's okay to call them as such, and then let the audience breathe and decide for themselves if it was memorable or not.
Good point. Now, Steve, you hear all that and you think I'm probably trashing AEW. I'm not. I think the potential's there. I do. I just think that they need to worry more about just continuing these compelling storylines and fresh matches. So that's where I'm at.
I enjoyed the segment.
It was a good segment. It's just a little too long, but I enjoyed it.
No, my mind's on independent wrestling right now. I was at a show on Sunday, Next Generation Wrestling, and that was pretty fun in the Richmond area.
Okay, yeah. Other than I haven't. Other than ECWA, I haven't been to an independent show in forever. It's been a long time. Since I've just gone and sat in the crowd, We were talking tonight about our favorite angles of all time. And Stro, actually, Derek, he broke my heart. Stro broke my heart today. He, it's like he told me Santa Claus didn't exist. We're talking about our favorite wrestling angles, and I mentioned when Earthquake, so many of my great memories are tied in with Earthquake sitting on things, whether it's Hulk Hogan or Jake the Snake, whatever the case may be. Big Boss Man, Tugboat. They made the snake burgers. Stro told me today on the show, November 30th, approximately 9:25 Eastern Time, approximately. Stro ruined my childhood by telling me that Jake Roberts had a snake in every town? I thought he brought that bag in the airport with him. Didn't I? I did. I thought like how wrestlers carry title belts. I thought for sure there. How many Damians were there? I thought there was one. I thought he got sick, and that's why he had to get the Cobra instead.
Well, there were times he could bring the same snake though. I mean, it wasn't like all the time thing, but like every now and then when he couldn't like bring the snake with him due to different reasons, they would have another snake to use for him.
They did have another one. Okay, so it was more like the Olsen twins.
Yeah.
See, I like the idea that maybe there was some sort of snake temp service, and when he couldn't get the real Damien, on the plane. So and they put somebody just preposterous to do this. Like they put Jesse Ventura on it, and he's got to call up every snake temp agency in the area.
Yeah.
It's a boa constrictor immediately.
and then Stro was telling this story about how one time in one of the towns, they came with the box with a snake in it, and Jake opened it up, and the snake was too heavy for Jake to hold it on his shoulders. It was just too big.
When he told me that story, I lost it. Oh my god.
Steve, did you have?
Tell you,
go ahead.
Jake hates snakes.
What?
I think that's understandable.
Does he really? I never knew that.
Oh yeah.
Like I thought he said it, but I thought he was trying to be funny.
Well, here's another story for you. I got to tell the story on the topic.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to go out the boat with him out in Texas, right? And we're getting things together, like to do some fishing out there, and he sees this green snake, right? This garden snake, and freaks out and starts like, he had a hoe and he was like shooting it away. And I'm like dying, I'm like laughing so hard.
Yeah. Uh-oh, you're pixelating there. You're not coming through. Steve, did you have anything else?
Am I there?
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
Sorry, you were...
That story's hilarious when he's looking at the garden snake, man. I was just losing it. Oh my god.
Yeah, we lost you there. We didn't hear that story.
Oh yeah, well he sees this garden snake, right? And freaks out and starts shooting it away with a hoe, right? And I'm like, I'm dying, and tears in my eyes. To take all those dangerous snakes he's handled, and this little garden snake freaks him out.
Man, Stro, you ruined my childhood telling me that tonight. But I remember him on this show. We had him on a couple times, but the one time, Steve, he was talking about his paranoia, Savage's paranoia, with the Cobra bite, where Savage insisted that Jake take the bite from the snake before he did, just to make sure that it was safe.
Damn right. Good for you, Macho. Smart man.
Stand up for yourself. Be a man. Be a man, Jake. I'm only playing.
Be a man, Hulk Hogan.
You get bit. You get bit, brother.
Hey, we were talking earlier, and there should have been a John Cena Macho Man duet rap at some point. That would have been tremendous.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be a man album. I love it.
Yeah, that's a great. And you gotta mute Max Caster for that. I don't have the heart for that one.
You gotta give it. That in and of itself. I don't know if that would be a great angle or not. I'm gonna count it as one. But Macho Man becoming a rapper.
Well, that was the one that Kevin brought up, and I said that I think Slim Jim canceled that out. At least he had enough goodwill from Slim Jim. He could have done whatever he damn well pleased after that.
That's true.
And then he did Spider-Man. Then he did Spider-Man.
That's right. And you know what? Bonesaw was ready.
Bonesaw was ready.
Bonesaw was ready.
Speaking of Bonesaw,
yeah, go ahead.
My friend and I were at a Jake Roberts show, and she actually did Bonesaw in front of Jake Roberts. It was funny. on the stage with the microphone, because Mickey James put her up to it. On the topic, Bugsy McGraw and Joe LeDuc, if we're talking crazy wrestlers, like those two need to do more.
Yeah, Derek. We're also talking crazy wrestlers. Mine was Sid, and Ray's was Bob Backlund.
favorite angles.
Yeah.
I think favorite angles that don't get mentioned enough, or Eddie turning on Ray when he ripped the mask and getting the brain buster and the steel steps, and the promo after was great. And then I know Jim Cornette's talked about it, but Ox Baker and Ernie Ladd, the riot that they caused.
Okay. All right.
Those moments are pretty significant.
Oh, it's the second time. See, Steve, a man after my heart. Bringing up Ox Baker just like I did.
Second Ox Baker reference tonight, by the way. Good old Ox. Steve, did you have anything else? Because we're gonna.
By the way.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. Check out Next Generation Wrestling Tennessee and United Elite Wrestling from Richmond, Virginia. And thanks for having me on to talk about wrestling.
No, thank you, Steve, and we'll talk to you real soon, hopefully.
I had one. I got to put Terry Funk out there, man.
Dude, that's a guy. That's a guy who's not quite right.
He's middle-aged. I know that.
I remember there was a match one time, and I don't know. He had a branding iron, and I think it caught like the ring apron on fire because he lit the branding iron on fire. Right? And,
oh my God!
And before the match, I think it was with Dusty, and he's like, he does this promo on Dusty, right? And where he says, I don't know I'll do Terry best I can. He's like, I respect everyone in this business. I even respect that banana nose Ric Flair, but I've always hated you, Dusty Rhodes, you big fat whale. And see Dusty in the corner just like covering his face with the lose it laugh the whole time. Because the promoter made the mistake of giving Terry Funk the microphone before the match started. So,
yeah.
Here we go.
I don't think that's a mistake.
I
think that is exactly the decision that I want someone to make. Another one that maybe kind of goes along with that, like a dude that you don't initially think of, but you look at what they did and how they talked, and God, they're not on there. I'll tell you, anybody whose vision is as bad as Stan Hansen's is, and then says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to clothesline people as hard as I can, even though I can't really see where they are or what I'm doing.
Oh, yeah, he's half blind.
Yes.
Nuts.
I remember the time he did the lariat on Lex Luger. I think it was Halloween Havoc or so. And Luger literally became cross-eyed. he didn't take a regular fall bump. He just like landed on his butt.
Yeah. That's enough to knock you cross-eyed.
He knocked him so hard with the lariat.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Derek, you got a favorite moment?
Yeah, I actually got a favorite moment and a crazy person. My favorite angle, and it took a lot of balls to do at the time, in hindsight, when they turned The Rock heel at Survivor Series, when he became like corporate Rock, and for like the first those 2 months leading up to Survivor Series, he was like the biggest face on the show, not named Stone Cold.
Yeah.
And for them to turn him in that night, and for everybody to be pissed off, and you went from having two monster baby faces in him and Austin to having a monster baby face in Austin, a mega heel in Vince McMahon, and a monster heel in The Rock to go against the babyface Austin. And I don't think a lot of people would book that today. I think if that was the day, they would just keep The Rock as a babyface and not put somebody up to be like the big bad guy.
Yeah, and not only that, I watched that show with Matt Grimm and a couple. DJ, I think, was there. A couple of us were sitting around in college watching this match, and I remember saying that they had one star going into that match, one megastar. Well, two if you count The Undertaker, but really I just meant Stone Cold Steve Austin was like the man in WWE. And coming out of that night, they had a 1A, and they had a 2 because they made Mick Foley that night as well. The sympathetic babyface with everything that happened. That was when he took off too.
Yeah, and it was almost too good because then, like, for the next 7 Survivor Series, they would do the whole "we screwed you" thing. But that was great, and you were upset because The Rock betrayed you. you felt bad when Mick Foley's dressed up and he looks at Vince and he's like, Dad, I don't understand what's going on. It's like, oh, it was so good.
It was really good. That was a great one. Great memory.
And my crazy person is a guy I don't think a lot of people tend to think is crazy, but if you look back at some of the stuff he's done, he's a nut. Kurt Angle is crazy. Like, he's just like, if there's a story where he tells the story of him and I think it was him versus Benoit in a cage match. And the winner of the cage match got a title shot against Steve Austin. And Steve Austin's ringside and he's watching the match. And Kurt Angle goes, me and Benoit wanted to put on a great match. So they're jumping. Benoit's doing headbutts off the cages. Kurt's doing backflips off the top of the cage and hitting.
Yep.
And he goes, I look at Steve. And he's like, you look at Steve Austin and you can see it on his face. I'm not working with either of these crazy bastards.
Right. He was crazy.
On commentary going, God damn it. Like, he's losing his mind. And then Kurt goes to TNA where he's not wrestling in front of that many people. Cage in front of like 300 people in Tennessee. And it's like, it was at WrestleMania in front of millions and millions of people.
Yeah.
But Kurt was a madman.
He was a nut. He really was. And I think if his body allowed it, he still would be. I really do. The one that always comes to mind for me, Derek, was Shane McMahon at that King of the Ring when they had the worked glass and it wouldn't break, and he kept doing like the German, I think it was a German suplex. Well, I think he kept suplexing Shane into this glass just to try and get it to break. And his head was banging off it, and his head was hitting the ground, and he'd picking up and trying it again.
Then he just got so mad he just grabbed Shane by his head and threw him through it head first.
Right.
Like, God damn it.
That was crazy. That was crazy. Yeah, that was insane. Let's go to oh boy. That wasn't a reflection of you, Justin. It's just a lot of callers on. What's going on, Justin? How you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Can't complain.
Tonight we're talking about favorite wrestling moments. Do you have a favorite wrestling moment? We're trying to go by the book here. We're trying to keep things moving.
Oh, I would say I like just about any moment with The Rock and Stone Cold. Those guys were that. I mean, that was my favorite.
What about
all the segments that they
What about, and here I am, Derek, I'm blasting MJF and CM Punk and AEW for doing 20 minutes on a 2-hour show, just talking to each other. And I seem to remember Stone Cold and The Rock singing karaoke with each other for at least 35 minutes of a show.
Didn't they sing like Margaritaville?
They were singing Margaritaville. Yeah, he's like,
it was so good.
There's another segment.
It's old Stone Cold's fault. And I remember too. I remember not to cut you off there, Justin, but like I remember too, like because they had like their little like they would act like they would do each other's catchphrases. Do you? This was how good they were. That like they could just goof around. Like The Rock, he's just like Stone Cold starts talking, and The Rock just starts going like what like that.
Yeah, what?
and then Stone Cold grabs a microphone and he goes Yaki. It's so stupid. It's so dumb, but they were so good at it that like that 20 minutes with MJF and CM Punk, I enjoy them both on the microphone, but that felt at least an hour and a half long. Whereas like the 35 minutes or whatever it was with Stone Cold and The Rock, like that was something I watched with Kelly, and it just flowed.
Yeah.
It was so good.
I was thinking this about Punk and MJF. If Punk beats MJF, does that help him in any type of way? Like, has this feud helped him in any type of way?
No, I think
like he beat Darby Allin.
MJF's got to win that, don't you think? I would think so.
you will.
I would hope so.
I think you will.
They made it,
get ready to say.
Yeah, they made it clear that he's taken that path to the title. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if he was the one that beats Adam Page.
Yeah, it's got to be either him or Cole, right? Like, you got to start.
I would think.
I thought Tony Khan got upset because people were like saying he was booking Adam Cole the wrong way, and he got offended by that. But I figured they're the two.
Well, I think, and Adam Cole will be in a better spot now that Kenny Omega's hurt because that can be his group.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
And then there's the logical feud when he comes back.
That is the other thing too. And this is, look, really talented guy, love him to death. But because he's so talented and because he's so interesting just in and of himself and because of who he is and how he is just so good at everything else, I don't want MJF around a title. He doesn't need it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
He doesn't need it, and he can make everyone else around him better without having the belt be part of the angle.
That's fine as long as he doesn't lose. I don't want him to lose.
No, I don't need him to lose either. He needs to win.
Yeah, because that takes it away from it if you do. Yeah.
No, I
agree.
He should should have a fight with CM Punk and he should win.
Yes.
Yes.
With the side headlock.
Yes.
Takeover. Yeah, takedown. Yep. I agree. Justin, I really enjoy letting you talk there. Do you have anything else?
Oh yeah. I would say another segment I like, but I wouldn't say it was my favorite. Was it's not my favorite, but it just came on my mind.
Well, we're doing favorite moments. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
It was CM Punk and Triple H when CM Punk was like, "Hey Hunter, can I be?" He asked him, "Hey, can I wear your jacket and do the commentary or whatever it was?" And they were like, "Yeah, go ahead." I think that was like the.
What are you talking about? I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
No.
So
CM Punk asked to wear Triple H's jacket, and Triple H said yes, and that's a memorable moment.
He asked him. He asked him
remember when everybody
if he could wear the blazer and call a commentary.
Oh,
yeah,
I don't remember that.
Hey Brady, can I wear your cool white polo?
Yeah.
Absolutely. What were you saying there? Because I still don't.
It was when it's when. All right, it's so complicated. I hate that I remember this. All right, so remember when they had the cage match and the Miz and R-Truth turned heel when they interfered in the cage match and they got arrested?
He got arrested?
Remember that?
I remember the cage match. I don't remember them getting arrested.
Yeah, and they arrest R-Truth, and as they were walking out, R-Truth was screaming Attica. But
was that around the time of Little Jimmy? Was that Little Jimmy time?
I think this was right before Little Jimmy.
Right before Little Jimmy?
But,
okay.
All the wrestlers walked out, and it was just Triple H did commentary. I think Triple H was the ref. CM Punk did commentary, and somebody had a match. And, Triple H was like, "You want to do commentary?" And CM Punk was like, "Yeah, but can I wear your jacket?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I hate that I remember that.
That's
that was
crazy.
the strike they had when all the wrestlers went on strike.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember a strike. Oh my God. Yeah. Thank you for the context, guys. Because for the life of me, I don't remember CM Punk wearing Triple H's clothes as a highlight. I don't. But thank you for that, Justin. Did you have a favorite crazy person? Please tell me it's Triple H for lending him his jacket.
Favorite crazy person. I would say Brock Lesnar when he goes off on everybody. It's like before they have like a big build up, he just goes out to the ring, suplexes the other guys, and
he is a crazy person.
Remember when he took the car door and threw it in the crowd and hit a child? Remember that?
No, I don't. I shouldn't laugh at that, but I don't remember that at all. That really happened?
Yeah, I think it was like when he was feuding with Seth. and they bought what was Seth's guy's name? J&J Security. They bought Seth like a car, and Brock came out and like ripped the door off and threw the door into the car.
Yeah, he destroyed the car.
I vaguely remember that. I was thinking it had something to do with like. What was JTG and Shad Gaspard? But I think I'm mixing memories. I think that was something with Cena destroying like JBL's car.
No.
Yeah.
Crime Time. That was the team's name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember, Justin. I don't
90
remember.
seconds. All history anyway.
Yeah. Well,
Sometimes
thanks for calling in, brother.
Sometimes I guess it's good to forget.
Well, yeah. I think in WWE's case, it's good to forget. So, best left forgotten, as they say. But there were good memories. There were good moments. I don't remember CM Punk wearing Triple H's clothes. I don't remember that one. I was probably asleep when it
60
happened,
seconds.
because I used to sleep through Raw a lot back then. Because I was watching it like middle of the night, you know. Like I remember
it's around that time.
because that was when around like I was using the DVR obviously, and like I would just like try and get through it that night, so I woke up in the morning and I knew what I had seen. Like there was one I remember. This is like the mid 2000s, right? Right around when John Cena won the U.S. belt on SmackDown, and I remember being, you know how sometimes when you're half asleep, you remember stuff, but you probably don't remember it correctly. Like you hear a line in the TV show or something, and you have something else going on in your head. Well, I saw John Cena with a belt that spun around like a spiral.
10 seconds.
And I thought, damn, I'm dreaming. And like I snapped out of it, and I hit rewound on I couldn't believe that he actually did, because I thought that was something that I was just dreaming, because it was like the middle of the night, and I was like, that is so stupid. That is so dumb.
One of the worst angles ever, I would say.
Horrible. And worse, like, because they're destroying the lineage of these titles. Like that WWE spinner belt, even when Cena didn't have it, that stayed with like everybody for years. I want to say that was around for like 8-9 years.
It was.
It was horrible.
It was. Brady, let's clear the phone lines and do some quick hits.
That sounds good. Let's do that, because it's getting late. Let's go to Tora. Has been waiting a while. Hey, it's quiet. How you doing, Tora?
Hey, guys.
Hey, girl. What's going on?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, you up to a little something tonight or what? You getting in trouble?
I'm drinking.
Well, of course you're drinking. I mean, obviously. What are you drinking?
Pop off.
Pop balls?
Ooh.
Yeah.
What's that?
Pop off. POP-VO.
Pop. I'm not familiar. I'll have to look it up. Do you have a favorite crazy person in wrestling?
Yes. Titus O'Neil.
Okay, yeah, he's pretty crazy.
When he got the Spinnerosa by Cesaro.
Spinnerosa. I remember that.
Yes, the Spinnerosa. That's my favorite move.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought you were going to say when he dressed up like a pirate and came out with Hulk Hogan.
Oh, jeez.
No, of course not. Or when he tripped and fell under the ring for the Royal Rumble. Not that.
When he fell underneath the ring, that was crazy.
It was crazy, but that was WWE that was crazy, not him. Apparently, I guess he did it by accident, but then they proceeded to like make it a thing for like 2 years.
Yeah.
That was up there with Natalia farting. Remember when Natalia used to fart everywhere she went? She'd be doing like the squats, like.
Yeah, she had a problem with UTI.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about that, but I don't know about that. Tori, do you have a favorite wrestling moment?
Jesus Christ.
Darren, why you keep on saying Jesus Christ for?
I just love him so much. I just want to say his name.
Oh, Jesus
Don't
Christ.
forget his middle name. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding, Jesus.
I would say probably Randy Orton.
Randy Orton is your favorite wrestling angle?
Yeah, just his birth and his conception and birth up to the present day is Tora's favorite wrestling angle.
You know, I guarantee you, if they did a WWE documentary that was just like Cowboy Bob Orton and his wife when Randy was born, I guarantee you it would get views. Probably more than Rampage. I would watch it. No, what the hell?
RKO the doctor.
Yeah, Tori, do you think he was born with all those tattoos?
Yes.
I'm thinking at least the arm sleeve, right?
Yeah.
Now, you remember? Now, I've been a wrestling fan long enough to know that he used to just have like that, like Goldberg, like barbed wire thing around him. You know, that was all he had was like the one like arm sleeve. But yeah, no, he was actually born with that. And you know what? That's why we feel bad for him, because like it wasn't actually tattoos; it was a deformity. He was born with skull tattoos on his arms.
Yeah. But I want to know something
No
now.
wonder he's putting poop in people's bags. I'd be pretty miserable too.
Yeah, I want to know something.
Yeah, I want to learn something from you. Go ahead.
My niece's birthday is December 31st.
Well, you'll have to remind me.
Years old.
She's turning 4 or 40?
40.
40. 4. Okay. Well, remind me when we get closer. I said 4. Remind me when we get closer. I'll wish her a happy birthday, but we're going to let you go, Tora, back into the world from whence you came.
Okay. Thank
All right.
you.
Love you.
Love you too.
All right. Bye. All right. Let's go to Rat Boy. What's going on, Rat Boy? Rat Boy, we're talking favorite crazy people in wrestling tonight. I know you're very qualified.
Let me take my last play of my sweet potato pie here. Come on now.
Is it finger licking good?
Potato pie here, you know.
Is it finger licking good?
Finger licking good and all that other stuff. And I tell you what. Should I eat this, I'm on my way out the door again, and I'm going right to the park casino to gamble for a little bit, okay?
It's not even too late for that. I love it.
The favorite moment that I got.
Okay.
The favorite moment that I got.
Mm-hmm. The favorite moment that you got.
When Liz Morgan.
Liz Morgan.
When Liz Morgan came out to the ring.
Yeah, it's a recent memory.
Rufus and Anna's wedding.
Here we go.
With the cake.
Would you say she roofied who?
Rufus and Anna's wedding.
Good call, Rat Boy.
Rusev and Lana. Yeah.
This is really riveting.
Rufus.
Rufus.
I
do remember that. That was my favorite angle too. I forgot that.
And another one you just mentioned, with Titus O'Neil falling underneath the ring.
Like Shaka Khan.
That was a good one too. You're just biting
Shaka
off.
Khan, yeah.
You know, you reminded me of a really good one though, Rat Boy. And I don't know who was around watching it during the Attitude Era, but at Armageddon, 1999, the last pay-per-view of the year, they actually had a swim pool match where Stacey Carter won the belt, and she threw up her top and she flashed the crowd. I was at Hooters watching it with my friends, and it was an amazing moment. It felt like where we finally turned the corner, where wrestling was merging with pornography, and I didn't know Stacey at the time. Obviously, like, she's a sweetheart, but really the memorable moment was next month at the Royal Rumble. They played off that angle by having Moolah flash, or Mae Young flash everybody with the prosthetic breasts. And they hung down to her knees. It was the funniest thing. That was a moment, Rap.
About next month.
You guys remember that?
That's when Jerry Lawler said that she her boobs gave out powdered milk.
Yeah. He said something's wrong with your... He said your puppies are too droopy.
Brady,
go ahead.
When you say next month, Stacy Carter will be right here in Philadelphia at the arena.
For what?
At the
Icons?
Section.
For Icons?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. When is that?
I
want to go.
18th or 19th.
Of December. 19th is a Sunday. It's probably the 18th.
18th.
Okay. I'm going to try and go. I probably won't make it, but I really want to.
And the favorite crazy character I got, number one off my list, got the R-Truth. I love the guy. I love the way he acts.
He is funny. He is funny.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that's the funniest guy that got the guy on the show right now. Him.
Yeah. Rat Boy, how was your Thanksgiving good? Your family good? Everybody good? I should have wished that. I should have said this to everybody. Yeah.
Okay. I took my mom and dad out because I wanted $1,000 down in Atlantic City.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
I took my mom and dad out on Thursday.
Was it real money or funny money?
No, real money. And we went to the Golden Corral. We went to the Golden Corral right there on Street Road in Philadelphia. We were eating. Some guy comes up, put $50 on my table, says, "Here, this is for you guys for dinner."
Mm-hmm.
I said, I went, wow, $50. You know, we got the free dinner. At Golden Corral.
Was the name
I like to.
No. It was some Spanish dude, you know.
Was it Virgil?
Really healthy, you know,
Was it Virgil?
I got all this money.
Was it Virgil?
No.
What? Okay, you went to Golden Corral. Hold on, no, time out. You went to Golden Corral for Thanksgiving. Brady, we're done.
Was it Kenny Bolin? Was it Kenny Bolin? He used to go.
No, it's all you could eat, man. It's all you could eat. All the stuff
I like Golden Corral. I like Golden Corral. I go with my parents sometimes. It's good.
Okay, but just like just make Thanksgiving dinner at home like a normal person. Stop making it okay to go out on a day when you are not supposed to go out.
Oh, I don't care. I mean,
wait a minute. You know, it's Thanksgiving, right? There's nothing open except for restaurants. All the stores are closed. You can't go out and buy anything until the next day.
Buy it ahead of time.
You know?
Yeah, I don't know how. See, the problem is that Rat Boy actually lives in Germany, and so he has to do his grocery shopping each day.
Anyway,
I go grocery shopping every day. I'm shopping every day now.
I got you, brother. Well, I'm about to tap out. I'm going to submit to the shooter. Thank you, Rat Boy. It was great to talk to you, brother.
Anytime, and make sure you eat that sweet potato pie that I've been sending you guys.
You say anytime. Let's make it next. Let's make it next Tuesday, not before. All right.
All right. You know, I'm going to be sending everybody a sweet potato pie by the Rat Boy. Rat Boy made it.
Love you, brother.
Sweet potato pie.
Love you, brother. Ratatouille. So, do some quick hits. Get out of here soon.
Let's do that and then get out.
It'll be quick. It'll be quick. So the Undertaker this week, he listed his Mount Rushmore of wrestling. I don't know if you guys saw this, but it was Andre the Giant, Stone Cold, The Rock, and Shawn Michaels of all people as the fourth. I found it funny. Not Bret Hart. Honestly, I probably would have had Hulk Hogan in that spot, just because of the significance to the company. But it's a crazy thing because basically you've got about 6 or 7 that deserve to be there, and there's only 4 spots. But I would not have used Shawn Michaels for one of those spots.
Nope.
Just my own.
That is, I guess it's nice to learn that Undertaker did not watch wrestling before 1984. That's good for him.
He was too busy living it.
I had a very different list come into my head than he did, and I will leave it at that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But that is essentially my list, but I wouldn't have put Shawn on there.
Well, let's save that for a topic next week. That'll be my topic, our wrestling Mount Rushmores.
That's such a hard one, but definitely. So the Undertaker really went crazy this week with interviews and stuff like that. And not for nothing. I know this is a fictional story, but I thought it was amazing. Kayfabe News, our good friend Colin Hunter, he posts. Yeah, I don't know. You guys remember Kayfabe News, right? This is like the Onion for wrestling. It's gotten so big in recent years to the point where like I don't even feel like I could book him as a guest anymore. I'll have to see because he was great. But he put up a story today about how WWE, because profits were so high, they're cutting costs. They're introducing a triangle-shaped ring. And he had a picture of it and everything. It was like a Photoshop, like TNA deal kind of with the WWF logo, and it was a triangle. It was amazing. It was just,
like a pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza ring.
Well, yeah, it was like a slice of pizza, but a perfect triangle.
Speaking of Taker, did you see where he said there'll never be another Andre? But he feels like Omos has some of that aura that Andre had if he wants to help him become that. Did you see when he said that?
You really? I didn't, no. And I thought he had more like Great Khali vibes, personally.
Oh, how dare you.
Or like Kurgan. That's what he reminds me of, is Kurgan.
Kurgan. Oh, man.
He can move better than those two guys.
I would think so. Yeah, that's really about it. I saw so Scotty 2 Hotty asked for his release from WWE last week, and a lot of people were wondering why. Apparently, he wants to come back. He's looking to do indie dates as a wrestler again. So good to him. I wonder if part of him doesn't wonder if AEW would use him or Impact. There's a lot of opportunities out there right now. Yeah.
And by the way, did you see the report today that said last week 48,000 people watched Impact? How are they still alive?
48,000 people. Wow. I remember they used to do those pay-per-views where they said like, oh, they had like 4,000 buys.
I shouldn't laugh. That's terrible.
But speaking of Impact, they I didn't watch. So I'm a little behind on it just because I'm behind on wrestling. But I watched like the November 18th or 19th episode or whatever it was, 2 weeks ago basically, and they did this supernatural angle with the. Have any of you guys watched this?
No.
It was amazing, amazingly, just in. I mean it. It wasn't as entertaining as it should have been or could have been, but it was like such a weird concept. So basically, the members of Decay. So I guess it's Crazy Steve, it's the bull guy, Black Taurus, and I forget the girl's name. Rosemary, right?
Yes,
and Havoc.
Okay, yeah.
So Rosemary puts a curse on a select portion of the Impact roster. And they all just appear in this house like a reality TV show where they're stuck there. And they're only allowed to leave when they teleport out for a match. And the match is done with the roster standing around the ring watching them. And then they come right back to the house. And it's set like a reality TV show. And the premise was they were stuck there until Johnny Swinger was happy again because they closed his pirate casino.
Jesus Christ.
So he's walking around moping and drinking, and he's just calling everybody daddy, and he's just not happy. He's just truly not happy. And they did this over the course of 2 hours. The entire show is just set in this house where, like, randomly two people would start arguing, and then they challenged to a match, and they would teleport to the ring to have this match, and then teleport back to the house. This was 2 hours. This was 2 hours.
teleport
and it
to a
ended
new
with
segment.
a wedding. It ended with the wedding where Swinger was going to marry one of his swingettes. And then at the last minute, like, I don't know, the one guy said, "Oh, I'm not a virgin because I've been sleeping with the swingette." And those two ended up getting married. And Johnny Swinger was legitimately happy for them. And the curse was lifted. And thank God that episode of Impact ended.
Yes.
I felt like I was cursed.
Remember how excited everybody was when the forbidden door was open and it was going to change wrestling as we know it?
Yeah. Yeah, there's no... Yeah. It really just means we can use New Japan guys when they want to.
That's it.
That's about it. Yeah. Yeah. But
just buy Impact. Just buy it.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm enjoying that they're doing something different. I am. I hope that they continue to do creative stuff like this because it's so much different than anything else that's on TV. I just thought that was a little too long of a segment for a supernatural thing. Oh, and they also did a really funny thing with Crazy Steve because they had Chris Sabin walking around without a shirt on in slow motion the whole time playing this sexy music while all the women were excited, right? So Crazy Steve, at one point, they say something like, "Look at that," and Steve looks in the wrong direction. And Rosemary takes him and turns him so he's looking the right way because he's blind in real life. Basically, he's like legally blind. But I just thought it was hilarious that they played off that in such a subtle way. You know what? I applaud Impact Wrestling for trying something different at a time when everybody just wants to do the same thing. Like I said, the segment was long, but it was funny. I was really looking for part of it to send you guys, but it isn't on YouTube yet, so.
That's why I love the original when NWA came back, because it was different than anything on TV. And I love it so much. And, they've lost so much talent, but I enjoyed when they came back.
And it was really good. It just felt like an 80s show. So if you can, look up different stuff. That's why Lucha Underground was so good. I didn't even watch it, and all I heard about was how good it was. And most of it was set in Spanish, and it was really good. So anyway, that's it. I think. I think that's about it. Derek, did you have anything you wanted to plug on the way out?
No, I hope everybody enjoyed their holidays. I'm happy to be back. I'm looking for, hopefully, the Christmas episode I can get drunk. I've been looking forward to that for a while.
Yeah. You think you'll have video? You think you'll have your video going by then?
I will.
That would be amazing. That'd be amazing. Because we've never done the drunken video. Sorry.
Yeah, and I want to send a shout out to Big Swole, who announced she's not resigning with AEW. So
I did see that. Yeah.
Hopefully she can go somewhere and she can get a chance to perform. But I think it's just the beginning of a lot of those people like her starting to leave the company.
Excuse me.
I think.
She'll go to WWE. Isn't her husband is Cedric? I think.
Yeah. So I figured she'd end up there probably.
Yeah. So another couple reunited. See that? Ray, did you have anything you wanted to plug?
As usual, no. Thank you so much for listening, both to this segment and the previous one. And make sure that you check out all of Papa Stroh's adventures over the course of the next week.
Papa Stroh's adventures. Stroh, before I kick it to you, I just want to remind everybody to go on YouTube and check out The Devil's Daughter, Stroh's movie with the origin story of Harley Quinn. It's amazing, and it's up for a bunch of independent movie awards. So please go check it out. It's very, very, very well done. I applaud our Dr. Arkham for his fine work.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an honor. Great cast and crew. Be a part of.
Cool. It was very good. What do you got going on this week, man?
WCW Retro Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be creating our own.
We lose him?
Am I good?
Well, he's picked. There you go. Try it again.
Okay.
I was just going to do it for you.
All right, Thursday night, WCW Retro will be creating your own Starcade cards for past and present. So if you'd like to call in to create your own Starcade show, please tune in. And this Friday night, from a Horrified show, the Stro Zone at midnight Eastern Standard Time at facebook.com/Stro the Maestro. The feature will be The House on Haunted Hill, starring Vincent Price. So please tune in.
Very cool. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in to In the Room this week, right here on the VOC Nation Wrestling Network. Be sure to check out all the great shows that are available on the network. We'll have some more this week. I know last week was kind of a light week with the holiday and everything, but we'll have some more shows going up real soon. So be sure to check everything out, vocnation.com, and your favorite podcast platform. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. Thank you to all the callers. Thank you to the best crew I could ever ask for. Each and every one of you guys just helped me out so much, from Kathy to Stro, to Ray, to Derek, to Matt, to Kevin and Patrick. All you guys just contributing in all your little ways. Little ways. I didn't mean to talk down to you. All you guys contributing in your huge ways. Thank you so much for everything. Everybody take care. Be good to each other. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week. Love you all.